Well, it had to happen eventually that the Mad Hatter would review the source of his namesake, so Alice in Wonderland.
Remember, you're a wizard.
On second thought, let's not hold the camera.
Still princesses.
Time travel, as you wish.
Well, I've been trying to ask you.
I have an excellent idea. Let's change the subject.
Why is a raven like a writing desk?
Riddles? Let me see now. Why is a raven like a writing desk?
I beg your pardon.
Why is a raven like a writing desk?
Why is that what? Careful.
Okay, technically speaking, I'm not reviewing the source of my namesake because then I'd be reviewing the book. But I am reviewing an adaptation of the source of my namesake, so that's something. This is another film that holds nostalgic value for me. I watched it a lot as a kid, mostly because it was one of the few VHSs that my grandparents owned that wasn't a Shirley Temple movie. So when I was visiting their house, I more often than not would watch this movie. Alice in Wonderland came out of that classic era of Disney that also gave us Cinderella, Peter Pan, Lady and the Tramp, Sword in the Stone, Jungle Book, and a bunch of other classic Disney movies that I also watched a lot as a kid. And watching this movie again, I was reminded that there is, in fact, a reason why Disney was, and pretty much still is, the leader of animation. I mean, screw motion capture. The original motion capture was just the animators sitting and watching actual models dance around on a stage so that they could draw what they were supposed to look like. Seriously, if you get the special edition DVD of Alice in Wonderland, watch the special features and specifically watch Ed Wynn, the voice of the Mad Hatter, acting out the Mad Tea Party for the animators. It is absolutely hilarious. At any rate though, back to the actual movie. When you think about it, Alice in Wonderland was kind of the perfect story for Disney to adapt. It allows for so much creativity and so much imagination, and in fact Walt Disney wanted to do it for the longest time. Like most adaptations of this story, Alice in Wonderland is kind of a smooshing together of the two Alice stories by Lewis Carroll, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass. So you have elements of both. You've got the Queen of Hearts, the Mad Tea Party, the White Rabbit, and the Cheshire Cat, all from Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. Plus, you have Tweedledum and Tweedledee, the Garden of Live Flowers, and a lot of elements from the Jabberwocky, all elements from Through the Looking Glass. The stories of Lewis Carroll are basically written in such a way that you can kind of pick and choose which elements you want to put into the adaptation and you won't have lost anything in the plot. Basically because there really is no plot. And there's really no plot in this movie either. There's a little bit of character development in Alice, but it's negligible. The focus is mostly on Wonderland. And you get the feeling watching this movie that the creators and the animators just kind of let their imaginations run away with them. Like they just decided to create the most imaginative, original, fun, silly things that they could and put them in this movie. I mean, there's a lot of imagination. Look at the Mad Tea Party, for example, and look at the different ways that the Mad Hatter and the March Hare are pouring their tea. It's like they said, okay, let's see how many creative and physics-defying ways we can come up with for these two guys to pour tea. I mean, there's creativity everywhere you turn, even in some of the little tiny details that are kind of overlooked sometimes. It's like this was just a platform for them to put out all of these imaginative and crazy nonsensical ideas that they couldn't fit into the other plot-driven movies. And it's so much fun to watch. It reminds us that there is joy to be had in the nonsensical, in the absolutely insane, just like the Lewis Carroll stories. And yes, there will be a books versus movies review of Alice in Wonderland, comparing this movie with the two books. So if you're looking for a really fun ride that will challenge your preconceived notions of reality, this is the movie for you. And that's my review of Disney's Alice in Wonderland. Until next time, this is Matt Guyan wishing you all a very merry unbirthday. Unless, of course, today is actually your birthday. In which case, happy birthday!
Thank you.